Caleb Hunter moved slowly through a small shuttle as it drifted toward the silent structure near the dead moon. The giant alien station looked cold, broken, and forgotten. Its metal surface was covered in cracks, and strange symbols glowed faintly under layers of dust. For 3,821 years, no one had entered it. Every species in the galaxy warned others to stay away. They believed the station hid something dangerous. But Caleb was different. He was curious, and he wanted answers. He pressed his hand on the shuttle window and whispered to himself, "If everyone else is scared, maybe that means humans should try." The shuttle landed with a soft shake. The door opened with a hiss, and Caleb stepped out onto the station's landing platform. The air smelled old, like metal that had not moved for centuries. The sky around him was dark, except for the weak glow of the moon. His steps echoed loudly, making the silence feel even deeper. Caleb looked around carefully. Broken lights hung from the ceiling. Strange wires ran across the walls like vines. The station felt empty, yet he sensed something watching him. The quiet was too perfect, too heavy. He walked toward a tall entrance door. Alien runes covered it, glowing a tired blue. When he touched the door, the runes brightened and the metal slid open. A cold wind rushed out. Caleb shivered but walked inside. The hallway was long and dark. His flashlight cut through the shadows. Dust floated in the air like tiny stars. He saw signs of life from long ago. Stone carvings, faded murals, and small containers that once carried food or tools. This place was not built for humans, but something about it felt strangely familiar, as if someone wanted him to find it. He moved deeper. The floor hummed under his feet. It felt like the station was slowly waking up. Loose panels rattled. Lights flickered. Caleb froze and listened. For a moment, he could swear he heard soft breathing. Not mechanical. Not human. Something else. Caleb whispered, "Hello?" But his voice came back to him in a long, lonely echo. After several minutes of walking, he reached a huge circular room. In the center stood a glass-like structure shaped like an egg. It glowed faintly with blue lines running across it. Around the room were several small doors, each marked with alien symbols of different shapes. Caleb studied them carefully. One symbol showed a creature. For legs, long tail, pointed ears, bright eyes. It looked like some kind of cat, but not from Earth. He felt a strange pull toward that door. Everyone in the galaxy had heard stories about this place. Some said the station held a weapon. Others said the creature inside could control minds. Most people simply believed entering the station meant never returning. Yet now, standing in front of the door with the feline symbol, Caleb felt more curious than afraid. He reached out and placed his hand on the symbol. The door clicked softly and slid open just an inch. A warm light spilled out. Caleb stepped inside. The room was small and round, with walls covered in glowing patterns. At first, he saw nothing. Then, in the far corner, something moved. Caleb froze. His flashlight shook in his hand. A small creature lay curled on the floor. It looked like a cat, but its fur shimmered like silver metal. Its eyes were large and bright, like two tiny stars. Its tail was long and thin, glowing at the tip. The creature was breathing slowly, as if tired or sick. Caleb took a cautious step forward. The creature lifted its head weakly and looked at him. For a moment, they stared at each other. Caleb felt no threat. He felt sadness. The creature seemed lonely, afraid, hungry. He whispered softly, "Hey, are you okay?" The creature blinked slowly, then let out a soft, almost musical sound. Caleb felt something warm in his chest, like the creature was speaking without words. It felt like a request for help. He knelt down slowly and opened his pack. He took out a small food bar. It had helped him survive long journeys, and he hoped it might help the creature too. He placed it gently on the floor and slid it closer. The creature sniffed it, then took a small bite. Its eyes brightened a little. Its tail glowed softly. Suddenly, the room shook. The walls lit up. The entire station seemed to awaken. Caleb stumbled back as lights flashed across the ceiling. A deep hum filled the air. It felt like the station had been waiting for this moment. The creature stood up slowly and walked toward Caleb. It touched his hand with its glowing tail. A wave of warmth passed through him, like a silent thank you. Caleb realized the truth. This creature was not a monster, not a weapon. It was something gentle, something important, something everyone had feared for no reason. He looked down at it and whispered, "I'm here. I'll help you." The creature blinked again, and for the first time in 3,821 years, the silent station felt alive. Caleb stayed very still as the small, glowing creature moved closer to him. Its silver fur shined softly in the dim light, and its bright eyes watched him a mix of fear and hope. The creature let out a low musical sound, almost like it was trying to speak. Caleb felt the sound inside his chest, warm and gentle. He whispered, "It's okay. I won't hurt you." The creature stepped closer and touched his hand with its glowing tail. The moment it touched him, the room lights brightened. The walls shifted and rearranged themselves into smooth, flowing patterns. The entire station seemed to react to the creature waking up. Caleb looked around and said under his breath, "What are you?" Before he could finish, the air above the creature shimmered. A bright circle formed, then stretched into the shape of a tall figure made of blue light. The figure looked like an alien, thin arms, long neck, and eyes that glowed like the stars. It was a hologram, but it felt alive. Caleb took a step back, but the hologram raised a hand gently, as if asking him to stay calm. A voice echoed softly, slow and ancient. "Human, you have entered the forbidden station." Caleb swallowed. "I didn't mean to break any rules. I only wanted to help." The hologram looked down at the small creature. Its voice grew sad. "Lyran, the Guardian, has waited 3,821 years for someone brave enough to feed it. Without energy, the Guardian weakens and the station sleeps." Caleb blinked. "This little thing is a Guardian?" The hologram nodded. "Yes. Lyran was created by our people to protect the knowledge of our civilization. It watches, learns, and guides. But after our fall, no one dared to help it. Every species feared this place." Caleb frowned. "Why? Why are they scared?" The hologram flickered for a moment, then continued. "Because they misunderstood the Guardian's power. They believed feeding Lyran would awaken a weapon." Caleb knelt beside the creature and gently placed his hand near it. "But it's not dangerous. It's just hungry." Lyran leaned against his hand, purring in a soft humming sound. The hologram watched them both. "Humans are different. Your kind takes risks. You face fear, even when others turn away." Caleb stood up slowly. "What do you want from me?" The station lights dimmed, and the hologram's tone changed. "To warn you." Caleb felt his chest tighten. "Warn me? About what?" The hologram pointed toward the walls. A large symbol appeared, shaped like an eye surrounded by rings of fire. "Long ago, our people hid from a great enemy," it said. "We locked the station, sealed the Guardian, and waited for someone brave enough to enter, someone who could help restore balance." Caleb felt cold air brush over his neck. "And now that I fed the Guardian, what happens?" The hologram looked at him with heavy eyes. "The station has awakened. That means the enemy may awaken too." Caleb looked down at Lyran. The little creature stared up at him calmly, as if it already knew. "So you're telling me," Caleb said, "that every species avoided this place because they were scared of something that might return?" "Yes," the hologram replied. "But we believed one day a human would come, a human with no fear of the unknown." Caleb let out a slow breath. "That's a lot of pressure." The hologram flickered again. "There is more." The floor beneath Caleb vibrated. The walls opened, revealing a long hallway lit by bright lines of energy. Caleb looked into it, feeling a deep pull, like the station wanted him to follow. "What's down there?" he asked. "The next test," the hologram said. "The station must see your true heart. Only then will Lyran be strong enough to guide you." Lyran moved to Caleb's foot and nudged it gently, as if telling him to move forward. Caleb looked at the long corridor, then at the creature. "You want me to go?" Lyran nodded in a tiny motion. Caleb smiled a little. "All right, I'm not leaving you." The hologram's voice softened. "Remember this, human. The Guardian trusts you. Do not fail its trust." Caleb took a step toward the corridor. The lights brightened as he moved, forming a glowing path. The hologram faded slowly. Beware, traveler. The station sees everything. It will test your fears, your memories, and your truth. Only a heart without cruelty can pass. Caleb nodded. I'm ready. The corridor lights pulsed once, almost like a heartbeat. Lyran walked beside him, its tail glowing brighter with each step. As Caleb entered the hallway, the door behind him sealed shut. The station watched. The test had begun. Caleb walked slowly down the long, glowing hallway, feeling the air grow warmer with every step. Lyran stayed close beside him, its silver fur shining brighter now. The walls around them seemed alive. They moved softly, like they were breathing. Caleb could hear a low hum under the floor, steady and calm, almost like a heartbeat. He whispered, "The station, it's watching us." Lyran made a soft sound, agreeing with him. As they reached the end of the hallway, the floor opened into a wide, circular room. The ceiling was high and filled with floating lights that moved like small stars. In the center of the room stood a tall crystal pillar, glowing with soft blue light. The moment Caleb stepped inside, the door closed behind him, and a wave of warm air washed over him. Lyran sat next to his foot and looked up at the pillar. Caleb took a deep breath and walked closer. His fingers brushed the surface of the crystal. It was warm, too warm for something made of stone. Suddenly, the pillar flashed. A bright pulse of light shot out and hit Caleb directly in the chest. He gasped as the room vanished. The floor disappeared. The walls faded. Everything went dark. Then, slowly, a new scene appeared. Caleb found himself standing in a small room he knew very well. It was his old home, a tiny apartment on Earth. His bed, his old desk, the small cracked window. Everything was exactly the same. He felt a strange mix of sadness and warmth. How is this real?" he whispered. A younger version of himself sat on the bed, head down, holding a broken tool in his hands. Caleb remembered that moment. He had been alone for months, trying to fix things, trying to survive, trying to stay hopeful. Those days were quiet and heavy. He used to tell himself to be brave, even when things felt impossible. The memory Caleb looked up. He stared right at Caleb, like he could see him. "You left home," the younger Caleb said. "Why?" Caleb froze. The memory wasn't supposed to talk. "I left because there was nothing for me there," Caleb said. His voice shook a little. "Or maybe you left because you were tired," the younger Caleb replied. "You ran away." Caleb clenched his fists. "I didn't run. I wanted something better." The room flickered. The younger Caleb faded, and the scene changed again. Now Caleb stood inside a broken spaceship. Sparks shot from the walls. Smoke filled the air. A young woman was strapped to a chair, calling his name. Caleb felt his chest tighten. He remembered this too. It was an accident, a terrible moment he tried to bury deep inside. The woman looked at him, her voice shaking. "Caleb, why did you leave me?" Caleb stepped back. "You're not real. You're a memory. I couldn't save you. The ship was falling apart. You told me to leave." "You!" The memory vanished before he could finish. The darkness returned, but this time something glowed in front of him. Lyran walked out of the shadows, tail shining gently. Its eyes looked soft and understanding. It touched Caleb's leg, and the fear inside him began to quiet down. The voice of the station filled the room. The memory pulse shows your truth. It shows your pain. It shows your guilt. Only those who face their past can protect the future. Caleb breathed slowly. "I didn't want to see that." "But you did," the voice said, "and you stayed standing." The dark room slowly shifted, forming new shapes. Now Caleb saw the alien civilization again, beautiful towers, glowing cities, peaceful sky. Then he saw them fall. Fire spread. Buildings cracked. Shadows swallowed the light. Lyran stood in the middle of it all, small and frightened, watching its home disappear. Caleb felt a deep sadness of creature. "You were alone for so long," he whispered. Lyran looked up, eyes filled with a soft glow. Caleb felt its emotion clearly: loneliness, fear, hope. The station had not only shown his memories, it had shown Lyran's too. The voice spoke again. "Do you understand now, human? The Guardian needs someone who will not abandon it, someone who can carry both the past and the future. Caleb placed his hand gently on Lyran's head. "I won't leave you," he said quietly. "Not now. Not ever." The room brightened. The walls returned. The crystal pillar glowed stronger, almost like it proved. A final pulse of light swept through the room, warm and steady. Caleb felt it fill his chest, clearing the weight from his heart. The memory test was finished. Caleb opened his eyes and saw the door ahead slowly unlock. Lyran jumped into his arms, as if ready for the next step. Caleb took a deep breath and whispered, "All right, let's keep going." Together, they walked toward the next chamber, not knowing what waited, but ready for whatever came next. Caleb stepped through the newly opened doorway with Lyran in his arms. The air felt different now, warmer, brighter, more alive. The long hallway ahead glowed with soft golden lines, pulsing like flowing energy. It felt like the entire station was breathing again after thousands of years of silence. Caleb could sense movement in the walls, as if the station was turning its attention toward him. Lyran's tail glowed brighter than before. Its tiny heartbeat felt calm, but strong against Caleb's chest. He whispered, "Looks like the station is fully awake now." As he walked forward, small lights appeared under each step, creating a bright path for him to follow. The hallway opened into a massive chamber, much larger than anything he had seen so far. The ceiling looked like a dome made of glass, showing the dark sky outside. Lines of energy ran across the walls in perfect patterns, like glowing rivers. At the center of the chamber stood a circular platform. It floated a few inches above the ground, spinning slowly. Caleb stepped onto it carefully. The moment his foot touched the surface, the platform stopped spinning. A large hologram flickered to life, showing the same tall alien figure from before. Its voice echoed through the chamber. "Human Caleb Hunter, you have passed the memory pulse. You have faced your pain. Now the station will show you the truth." Caleb held Lyran close and asked, "What truth?" The dome above them changed. The black sky disappeared, replaced by a huge image of space. It showed a bright star system filled with planets and glowing structures. Caleb recognized the alien civilization from the earlier visions. Tall, shining towers, peaceful cities, and great machines that floated like clouds. Then the image shifted. Bright lights turned red. Explosions flashed. The beautiful cities collapsed. Ships fell from the sky. Dark shapes moved across the planets, swallowing the light. It looked like a nightmare spreading from world to world. Caleb's breath caught in his throat. What happened to them? The hologram turned toward him. An enemy came, a force without a face, without a voice. We called them the Void Ones. We tried to fight, but our strength was not enough. Caleb looked down at Lyran. The small creature lowered its head, as if remembering everything it had lost. The hologram continued. "Before the end, we created the Guardian. Lyran, a living key, a keeper of our knowledge. But the Guardian could not survive without a partner. Someone who could give it energy. Someone who could bond with it." Caleb felt a chill. And no one came for 3,821 years. No one was brave enough, the hologram said. Fear ruled the galaxy. But humans act even when they are afraid. The image above shifted again. This time Caleb saw something else, an enormous shadow moving in the darkness of space, a shape with no clear form. It looked like smoke, but alive. Its presence felt cold and heavy, even though it was just a projection. The hologram spoke in a softer voice. "The Void Ones are stirring again. The station woke because it sensed their return." Caleb stared at the dark shape. "And you expect me to stop that?" "We expect you to lead," the hologram replied. "The station will protect you. The Guardian will guide you." Lyran hopped onto the platform beside Caleb. Its tail grew brighter and brighter until the chamber was filled with warm silver light. The platform beneath them started rising slowly, lifting them toward the dome ceiling. Caleb grabbed the edge to steady himself. "What's happening?" "The station is giving you its energy," the hologram said. "Because you fed the Guardian, it now feeds you." A burst of white light exploded across the chamber. Caleb shielded his eyes. When he looked again, he could see new patterns glowing across the walls, symbols he hadn't seen before. They pulsed with strength, The hologram said, "You have awakened the heart core. This station can now defend the star system again. But it needs a commander." Caleb blinked. "Commander? I just showed up to explore." "But you cared," the hologram replied. "You helped the Guardian when every other species ran from it. You faced your memories when others would hide. That is what makes humans strong." The platform lowered again. Lyran climbed onto Caleb's shoulder and nudged his cheek gently, as if telling him it believed in him. New pathways opened across the chamber. Doors slid apart. Lights turned on across the entire station. It was waking up piece by piece, and all of it responded to Caleb's presence. He could feel a connection forming in his mind, like the station was speaking softly to him, welcoming him. Caleb stepped forward and looked at Lyran. "I'm not sure I'm ready for this." Lyran touched his hand with its glowing tail. Warm energy spread through him. The fear in his chest loosened. He whispered, "All right, I'll try." The hologram bowed its head. "You have already begun, Caleb Hunter. The station rises again because of you." Caleb looked at the glowing walls, the floating lights, the shining paths. The station was alive now, and it had chosen him. He took a deep breath and walked toward the next door, feeling Lyran's warm glow beside him. The awakening was complete, and the future was waiting. Elias moved slowly through the glowing corridor as the station lights brightened one by one. The whole place felt alive now, and the air was warmer than before. He could hear a soft hum under his boots, like a heartbeat starting after a long sleep. The small alien cat, Mira, walked beside him with her tail lifted high. She seemed excited, almost proud, as if she knew what was coming. When Elias reached the central chamber, the huge crystal sphere in the middle of the room lit up. It filled the chamber with a gentle blue light. Mira jumped onto a nearby rail and looked at him, her eyes glowing. Elias felt nervous, but he also felt ready. He had come this far, fed the strange creature, and survived the Guardian's warning. He knew something important was about to happen. The sphere opened like a blooming flower. A tall holographic figure stepped out. It looked like an alien, but made of light. Its face was calm, and its eyes seemed kind. "You woke us," the figure said. "You fed the last child of our species. Because of you, we can rise again." Elias had many questions, but his voice almost failed him. "I just helped her," he said. "She was hungry." The hologram nodded. For 3,821 years, no one dared. Many visitors came, but all were afraid of the Guardian. Only humans carry a strange mix of fear and bravery at the same time. You acted with heart, not logic. Mira purred loudly, as if agreeing. The hologram raised its hand. The walls around Elias changed, showing images from the past. He saw the alien species, tall and graceful, moving through bright cities. He saw Myra's kind walking beside them. He saw the great disaster that forced him to sleep inside the station. At the end, he saw Mira placed in a small pod, kept alive, so she could one day show someone a way to wake the station. "You fed her not only food," the hologram said. "You fed hope, and hope is the power your species carries stronger than any other." Elias felt a warm feeling in his chest. He had never thought something so simple could matter so much. He had only done what he felt was right. The chamber shook slightly. More lights came on across the station, like stars waking from a long night. The doors that were closed before now opened, showing rooms full of glowing machines and sleeping pods. The hologram looked around proudly. "We will rebuild, and we will remember that a human helped us return." Elias looked at Mira. She leaped into his arms and curled against him. "What happens now?" he asked. "You are free to leave," the hologram said, "or stay. The station will welcome you. Our people will return in time, and they will know your name." Elias thought about it for a moment. The idea of living on a strange alien station sounded unreal. But he had grown tired of his old life. He had no home waiting for him. Maybe this place needed him more than Earth did. "I'll stay for a while," he said. The hologram smiled. "Then you'll be the first friend of our new age." Elias watched as new systems powered on. He saw small robots waking and beginning to repair broken parts of the station. He saw glowing lines on the floor, showing new paths. The whole place buzzed with life. Mira jumped aground and ran ahead. She paused and looked back at him, waiting. Elias followed her, feeling something grow inside him, a sense of purpose he had not felt in years. As he walked deeper into the reborn station, he understood why humans were special in the galaxy. It wasn't strength. It wasn't intelligence. It was a simple courage to care, even when everything felt strange and dangerous. And because of that one small act, feeding a lonely alien cat, an ancient species would rise again, and Elias's name would be remembered in the stars. He smiled softly and Mira meowed, her voice echoing to the bright halls of a future that began with him.